Good morning, listeners. I hope you're all enjoying this dramatic drop in temperature. For this temperature drop brings the season of winter. And when winter comes, jolly old St. Nick comes along with it. Presents and candy, stocking stuffers, and not sleeping because you hear Santa on the rooftop. Feeling anxious, and not to mention the early wake-up calls your parents receive when you children jump on their beds at the crack of dawn. Well, those used to be the feelings that I had. But now that I've grown up, Christmas is just not the same. The feelings of anxiousness have faded. The wake-up calls to my parents turned into "see you at 2 for Christmas dinner," and the presents and candy just make me think of how slow my metabolism has really gotten over the years. Christmas time is not the same once you realize Santa Claus. Well, folks, he just isn't real. Also, when you realize that you become Santa to everyone else. Cha-ching! Why can't I go back to the old days when Santa was real and my bank account wasn't so little? So let me ask you, listeners, how and when did you find out Santa Claus was not real? Has it changed the meaning of Christmas for you? Well, folks, here's my story. I remember when I found out Santa wasn't real. I was in 5th grade, and it was Christmas Eve. My dad had stayed in bed with me to rub my back so I could fall asleep. This was my favorite part of bedtime. So I was enjoying this nice back rub from my dad, slowly going in and out of sleep, dreaming of Dasher and Dancer and Comet and Cupid, etc. It was a blissful time, and not to mention, I had my mom and dad read the Polar Express to me, which topped off the night. Perfect night for a 5th grader. Anyways, back to dreaming of Santa and his reindeer. As I was just about to fall into the sweetest and deepest of sleeps, I hear my door open, and it's my mom. "George, George," my mom whispers, "did you get the presents from the attic?" Well, let me give you a little insider, folks. The attic is located in my room. The entrance to the walk-up attic was in my room. Good thinking ahead, parents. Anyways, my dad replies, "No."
Oops.
So my mom quickly, but not so quietly, ran up the attic stairs, retrieved the gifts, and told my dad they need to start wrapping before I wake up and hear them. Well, I think it was a little too late at that point, but I pretended to stay asleep the whole time. My mom and dad never realized that I heard them until 2 years later. Another Christmas Eve had rolled around, and they had asked me, "Oh, what did you ask for Santa? What did you ask for Santa this year?" Well, and then they paused, and they're like, "Wait, Nikki, don't you realize Santa's not real?" And I said, "Of course I know. Now I know when I have children, I won't hide the presents in the attic that is connected to my daughter's room."
Oops.
And I think they got the picture from there. So now, listeners, I would like you to call in right now and tell me a story of how you found out Santa wasn't real. I'm sure they'd be funny. Now, here's our first caller. What's your name?
I'm Sam from Barre, Massachusetts.
All right, can you tell us your story on when you found out Santa Claus wasn't real and the emotions that came along with it, please?
Well, when I was little, my sister and I would always make cookies, write letters to Santa, and give, carrots for the reindeer. And so the night before Christmas, we'd put it all out, and then the next morning, we would get a letter back, and all the cookies and the carrot would be gone. So we started getting to the age when we could recognize our parents' handwriting.
Oh, no.
And I finally realized the handwriting in the letter was my dad's.
Oh, shoot.
I was a little upset.
I was upset too when I found out Santa wasn't real. Are there any other emotions? Did your sister feel upset too?
She might have cried.
Yeah, I cried too. Well, thank you for sharing, Sam. Have a great day and enjoy the holidays. All right, now we have our second caller. What's your name and where are you from? And tell us your story of how you found out Santa wasn't real.
My name is Sean Young. I am from East Lyme, Connecticut. And I found out that Santa wasn't real about the time when I started to realize my grandparents' and my mom's handwriting was oddly similar to Santa Claus's. So one day I decided, it was actually Christmas, I decided to ask why Santa Claus had 2 different handwriting styles when it came to writing his name and the messages on our presents. And my grandpa replied that Santa was so busy and had to get through all the houses that he had to write with both hands in order to be efficient and get all the presents out. But I kind of saw through this because one of his hands looked like my grandma and grandpa's spelling when they wrote on my birthday cards, and the other handwriting looked just like my mom's when she writes on cards or messages. So I kind of figured out that it was my grandparents and my mom.
Why?
Interesting. I think we see a trend here. Thank you, Sean, for calling and sharing your story with us. All right, we're going to take our last and third caller here. What's your name and where are you from?
Katie Ward, and I'm from Springfield College. Woo!
All right, and can you tell us your story of how you found out Santa wasn't real?
Actually, it was last year, and it was devastating. No, I'm just kidding. Actually, it was probably when I was like in middle school. It really was like the most devastating thing, because you always think that he actually does come every night, give you all these presents, and then you find out that it's your parents who are sticking oranges in your stockings. It's not Santa. So he doesn't want you to eat healthy. It's your parents.
Huh?
So it's quite disappointing, but.
Thank you for sharing your story.